My name is Nelson, and uh, we are going to give you the seminars for today. Is the Hytera's body camera solution, and I put my contact information here. Okay, so welcome you again, and for your time to participate in our seminar. And if you got any question, maybe you don't have the time to propose it in the Q&A section. Maybe you can also leave me a message over there. Okay, thank you. So now let's begin our seminar of the Hytera body well camera solutions. Okay, so here is the agenda for today, and actually we will break into mainly three parts. So the first part we will take an overview of the BWC's requirements. I mean, for the body camera, what's the challenge and what's the requirement it is, and we will share with you the some understanding of the developments in the BWC area. Okay, and afterwards, I think is the main part or main course for today is the BWC solutions. So in this part, we will introduce to you about our body wear cameras details, including its features, including the parameters, and also we will share with you some understanding why we designed this to help the law enforcement officers. Okay, and for the second part, for the second section of the second part, we will share with you the command and dispatching solution, which we think is quite useful when we are talking about the, we need to have the PDT functionality to build inside with the BWC, the body camera. And of course, one of the most important thing is for the evidence management. So we need to give you some more information about how we manage the evidence and how we manage the device in the third section of the second part. Okay, so this is so at last we would like to review our global cases, successful cases global wide, so we can understand actually a lot of customer has already chosen our solutions and our products, and why they are choosing us, and what's the benefits we can give to them. So let's begin with the first part. So here we have this scenario, the law enforcement scenario, right? So normally the officer, or especially for the officer from the public security department, they are supposed to handle about the conflicts in the streets or in the city, right? Normally they need to handle the disputes or these quarrels in the public. So when they go to the outside environment, so they need to record the facts. So how they do this? So this is about some possible scenario. For example, when the traffic police is issuing the tickets, they need to provide the evidence. And if you have the violation of the transportation rules, and they also will give some, you need to record the evidence so you can put the punishment or refinement of their violations, right? And most important of all, because we all know that in the, for example, in the movies, when about talking about the police criminal movies, there is one transcript you might have in mind. The police will say like the following: okay, so you have the right to remain silent, but what you have said here will be presented to the court as the evidence, right? So this is normally happens with the police criminal movie, and how they can to record these facts or how they provide the court of the later evidence. So this is one of the important things. So this is why we introduced the body-wear camera here, to record the evidence, to record the video as a facts or as evidence for the later usage in the court. And the second thing is because when we are talking about the evidence, this is very important for the court or for the policeman to track down the criminal or track down the suspect. But maybe when we are talking about handling the conflicts between the public and the government, and maybe sometimes we need to handle it very carefully, because we all know that the citizens now get a lot of smartphone and they can take the videos by themselves, right? So normally in the Twitter or the Facebook, they might uploading some some malicious video clips, and this is not a favor the government, and they will distort or modify the video clips previously they recorded, and for their prejudice. So this could be very will be very bad to set up the public affairs, public image of the government. So how we enhance the public trust of the government, could be one challenge for us. So this is why I introduced the body-wear camera, and the body-wear camera has the ability for the anti-tampering, and so it also have the encryption built inside to help us to maintain the integrity of the evidence. So this is why we are choosing the BWC as a recording device of the facts. Okay, so this is why we are using the body-wear camera. And here we want to show you of the some analytic reports from the some British college. And before we go to the numbers here, we would like to share with you some more facts. Because in USA, actually the police shooting the black man or black boy is a common, because it has the tradition like racial discrimination there, right? So according to some statistics, about every year it will have about 50 black men or boy has been shot in the head by the policeman. So this is exactly why we're supposed to use the body-wear camera here to help us to protect the truth, to restore the facts, and to reduce the conflicts between the law enforcement departments and the public, right? So because if you are using this one, maybe the policemen, they will be more careful about what they are doing, and they will not abuse the power which they have, because they have the gun, and normally the innocent or citizens, they don't have the gun with them. So this is one very useful tools for our lawful enforcement police. So here we give some figures with this study, and you can see from the report that actually we can safely say that we can cut down about 30% of the assaults to the officers, because normally when the people is realizing he's being filmed, and he will be more decent of his actions, so he will action more politely, right? And of course you will have another figure of 90% of the complaints against officers will be decreased, and also it will increase about 90% of the early guilty confession of the criminal or the suspects. So this is very helpful and efficient for us to improve the case handling process and for the officers, and also it can reduce about 50% of the force by the officers. So let's say it's a very useful tools for our officers to settle down about the conflicts and the disputes in the streets. So let's say the body-wear camera is one of the very important tool with the police or the law enforcement staffs. And especially in some country, for example, in Kazakhstan and also in Singapore and South Africa, all of these countries, they set up the law or they pass the act to mandatory use the body-wear camera as one of the routine devices for the police. So this is why or challenge actually is a requirements to use the body-wear camera with the police. Okay, and after understanding of the requirements behind, now we go to look at the evolution of the body-wear camera. So from these slides that you can see, we divided into 3 generations of the body-wear camera. So the first generation developed since the 2007. At that time, it's more focused on the camera details. So you need to record the facts. You need to have a very good performance of the camera and also the storage, right? Including this working time. So afterwards, we will explain a little bit more about the FOV or the battery things and also the encryption mechanism. And for the second version or second generation, it will have the broadband capability. So in this time, we are supposed to have the live videos streaming for the body-wear camera. So for the command center to understand what's happening in the field, to help us to have a better situation awareness. And for now, we are entering the third generation of the BWC. Actually, we think the AI-powered integration is the current trend, and we are supposed to support the AI capabilities or AI functionality with our body-wear camera to help our officers or police officers to improve the efficiency of their daily work, right? So this is about 3 stages or 3 generations of the body-wear cameras, and this is from the very beginning of 2007 and the 2016, and now it goes to the 2020. We entered the third generation of the BWC. Okay, and now we are going to look at our Hytera's BWC solution or the body-wear camera solution. And before we go to the detail, we would like to address the following aspects. So the first thing is that our device is supposed to recording facts. So we will see a lot of features has been built around these features, around these functionalities. So we need to have the camera, we need to have a bigger FOV, and we need to have the pre-recording things. So this is all according to the recording facts functionality. Okay, and the other thing is about the evidence management. So for the evidence management, we understand although the video clips or the footage, we need to manage it because we have thousands of devices with the police station, and we need to handle this evidence to help our officers to locate the real suspect by this kind of video footage. So we need to manage the evidence very well with our software, right? So after that, you will have some additional features like we need to have the PTT functionality, so we can set up the group calls, we can set up some individual call, and we can do the instant communications. And of course, one thing more is that we can communicate with the backend dispatcher and to tell the dispatcher what has happened over there and what we need. So to ask for more help. So this is another additional functionalities here. And we will focus on these 4 parts to explain about the Hytera's BWC solutions. Okay, before we go to the main parts of the BWC solution, we would like to do a little, let's say, a little quiz or investigation, so you can give your answers, and we will see what's the response of you to make sure that you are following us. We will take about 1 or 2 minutes here. Sorry, I forgot to open the mic. Okay, I now have received already about 70% of you the answers. We'll explain a little bit more here. So the first question is about the benefits of BWC. Here, all of the choice or options should be the right answer, including the reduced conflicts, right? Including the enhanced transparency, reduced forced by the policemen, and decrease of the complaints against officers. So because the BWC is actually a very powerful tool for the officers because it can increase about the transparency of the government and also to lower down or decrease about the conflicts. And it's especially because we want to increase or enhance the public image of the government. So we can use this one to help our citizens to understand what is really happening when we do the law enforcement missions, right? So it also can lower down the complaints against officers, right? And of course, I see lots of your voted for the application scenario. So actually, this little device is not only limited to the police officers. It can also be very useful for example, for the financial escorting. And during the escorting, you need to record all of the videos, and this is like mandatory by the bank. And also in some complex or complicated operations such as utility, such as the oil and gas industry, they always will like this kind of little device to help them to record the operations. So later on we will have more cases to explain to help you to understand how to apply this little device in our daily working of like the policemen, like the utility workers. Okay, so let's continue with our second part for the BWC solutions. So the first part is about the terminals, and before we go to the terminals, we would like to follow exactly what the officer's daily work it will be, right? So normally this officer will go to the office and to pull off the body camera from the desktop charger, and then he goes to the work, goes to the scene, for example, to work in the streets and to issuing some tickets. And of course, they are capturing and record all of the video or footage at the same time, right? And if something emergency happens, or they have some other resource requirements, they will contact to the backend dispatcher console to let them know about the situation happens on the scene and what they are requesting. For example, they need the backup, they need some SWAT or FBI's resources or medical resources to handle some emergencies. So they can use this real-time command and dispatch as the supplementary way to help them to achieve this purpose, right? And after that, when they go back to the office, they will put this one into the charger, and all of the evidence, or let's say the video footage, will be automatically uploaded and will store there as evidence. So this evidence uploading should be automatically, and this should be managed very well because we have the information security problem here. So we need to address about the encryption for the device. So this is the normal way or normal working shift for one officer, which he might encounter in his daily law enforcement action or missions. Okay. And then we go to the terminals. So here we first, with that question or procedures in mind, we will first look at what's our body cameras portfolio it will be. So basically we have two categories, and one is non-LT models and the other is the LT models. So from these slides you can see actually we have the small and slim one, which is the upper one, right? So here we supposed to have supposed to have the VM550D and the VM580D. So with this D, which is mean the displayer. So we will have a displayer here to help us to get the recording, for example, the replay, and to query about the recording clips. And here we have another two type, which is advanced one and the slim one. So here we have VM780 and the VM680X. So actually here we can say that we will focus on the star products, which is exactly the VM780, because these products actually it will have all of the functionalities or features in these products, and the other type is just like some subsidiary of these products. Okay, we will introduce you one by one, and but before we go to the details, okay, so this is the VM780's layout, and here we show you with some outlook of the device, and you can see a lot of buttons, including the emergency button, the PDD button, and also the voice recording and the image capturing and the video capturing. It's like a switch here. And we also have a rotatable camera, and later on we will explain what's the benefits of there. And of course we have lots, very big requirements of the storage card. For example, the 16 gigabit or the 128 gigabit storage should be the options of our device. And of course we need to support more than 8 hours of the officer's work. So we need to have this big battery, and also with the battery latch here in order to help us to change it very quickly. So here, before we go to the features of the VM780, we would like to introduce you some other concepts. For example, here we have one picture to explain about the safe distance of the officers. So normally, when the officer goes to the site, goes to the street for their daily mission, to perform the daily missions or execute their missions in the routines work. So they might encounter with some malicious actions, right? So maybe this suspect will have some aggressive actions for the officers. So normally a safe distance, which is actually concluded by the Department of Justice of USA, actually they have a conclusion that the 21 feet could be the safe distance of the officer, between the officer and the suspect. Because if, let's say, when this suspect will have some malicious or aggressive action for the officer, it will only take him about 2.5 meters to run out of these 21 feet, which is exactly about 6 to 7 meters. Okay, so in these 2.5 seconds, this suspect can, with their cutting weapons or some other stuffs to harm our officers. So the officer will have these 2.5 seconds to pull out of his gun from the holster, and to of course he needs to aim at the targets and to shoot it twice. So this is about the total time, about the identify the threats, and to pull out his gun from the holster, and then to aim at the target and shoot it twice. So all of this action time, it need to have 2.5 seconds. So these 2.5 seconds can be means about 21 feet. So this is mean our body wear cameras, we need to capture the details from this 21 feet, or let's say 6 or 7 meters away, right? So you need to have the very clear image or very clear videos about what happens in about 6 or 7 meters away. So one of the other points is about we need to identify the objects. For example, what exactly they are holding in the hand, right? We are giving this object size. The dimension should be like 10 by 5 centimeters size. And also, we understand that the officer, normally they are moving all around, and we should have the image stabilizations to have a clear video there. And of course, we need to have a wide angle of the FOV, which is the field of view, in order to contain more contents for the facts. So the camera can record more facts with a wider angle. So keeping this in mind, we will understand in the future, in our later slides, why we are designing some of the parameters there. So let's first look at the objects. So here we give some comparisons of our body wear cameras and the other vendors' body wear cameras. So here you can see actually in the 5 meters, okay, the Hytera BWC is the same like the other vendors. So we can see the car plate very clearly, right? And after it is like 7 meters, and you can see actually this image with the other vendors is blurred here, and you cannot see very clear, but okay, it can be recognized. But when to talk about the 10 meter, and we still can see the car plate very clearly, but in other vendors it is hardly can be recognized, right? And after it's 50 meters, you can see we can barely identify the plate with our Hytera's BWC device, but with other vendors, it just cannot recognize anymore. So this is like the comparison. What we talk about the 7 meters, we need to record the facts, right? So we need to identify the objects like the 10 by 5 centimeters objects, just like this plate. And we give an example like this plate. So we need to have the recognition capability or identification capability, even it's in 10 meters range. So this is the comparisons between our camera, between our body camera and the other vendor's camera. And then we go to the stabilizations because normally we know that the police is carrying this device, they are always on the moving status. So when they are on the moving, you do not want the video clips at this have lots of vibrations and which cannot be seen very clearly. So here we give you some comparisons of the optimization model and before the optimization model. So this is the when we are doing the rounding, right? You can see the left side is the rounding videos, and the right side is the one which is combined with the gyroscope and some stabilization algorithm built inside. So you can get a better clip or footage for when you do the video recording. And so the same as the working scenario. So you will get a much more stable image or much more stable videos. So this is very helpful when you afterwards you want to retrieve your video footage and for some evidence. So you need to have more stabilized video clips here. And the last thing we talk about is the field of view, which is the FOV. So here, actually, we all understand that for us, the the normal smartphone, it will have 80 to 100 FOV. For example, the Mate 30 of Huawei, it will have 100 FOV. But actually, this is not enough, right? Because when we took the pictures or we're shooting the field, and we will find some of the crucial information is missing here. For example, we cannot see with this range, and the one of the important information of what is held in the hand is missing here. So we cannot know if this guy is just defending himself or just actively do some aggressive actions. So this is a very important information which we cannot miss here. So with our camera, with our body camera, we can support about 116 degrees of the FOV, the field of view. So this is mean the picture can take more information. So at this time, you can see actually the video can see the whole picture of what's happening in the field, right? So this is very important and very crucial for us to remember that normally we are supposed to have this FOV of the 116 diagonal field of view for the camera. And one other details about this diagonal FOV is that because sometimes if you say you might arguing with that because we want more facts, maybe it's better to have a large FOV, right? For example, you need to have 160 instead of this 120. So in here, we just want to tell you we need to have some balance because if you have a big FOV angle, this is mean the picture will be distorted very seriously with the 160. So if the bigger of the angle and the bigger distortion of the image, so we need to take the balance of the image or video distortion, and also also about more facts. So this is like a balance problem, and we are supposed to give the about 116 FOV here. Okay, so this is about one of the detailed parameters of our design of the body-wear cameras. So the other thing is about the rotatable camera or rotatable lens here. So you can see actually we can rotate our cameras to 216 degrees. So this is mean that it can easily capture the, for example, on the ground you need to capture the evidence, right? You need to shoot to the ground. So so you can just easily adjust this camera's angle, so you can shoot the ground very easily. And if you want to shoot something higher, like in the sky or in the building, so you can also adjust this camera or lens very easily by just rotate the lens. So you will not adjust your postures. So you can easily capture the events without any adjustment of the gesture of the officers. So this is very useful because normally our body-wear camera is supposed to be attached with the uniform, and it's not very easy for you to dismount it from the uniform, right? So this is a very necessary functionality of the rotatable camera. Because normally we do not want to adjust the postures, we do not want to uninstall it from our uniform in order to capture the evidence. So we just adjust the cameras, and we can get these video clips or our evidence. So this is very convenient for our officers to carry out their task in the field. And of course, the other benefits which the rotatable camera can bring to us is that actually it can deter against aggressive behavior. For example, when the screen is facing to the front and the target, I mean the filming target, because the suspect is realizing that he has been filmed, right? So he will do less aggressive behavior with the officers. So they will be more. Normally the people will be more calm down and more decent to the police, because they are realizing actually my actions have been filmed, and I will not do very aggressive behavior or malicious behavior. So this can cut down the potential harm for our officers. And sometimes, because we are, for example, in some interview, and maybe the interviewees, they are very nervous, and they would not want to be pictures. So we will rotate this camera to the other side. So at this time, you can see actually in the front we do not see the screen. So the people will not be agitated by the following facts that actually I'm being filmed, and actually I will be stimulated if I'm being filmed, right? So in this aspect, it can also reduce the potential for conflicts between the officers and the citizens. So this is why we are saying that Hytera we designed this rotatable camera for our officers to facilitate their routine works in the field. So this is exactly why Hytera designed a lot of features inside and to improve the user's experience of there. And of course, the other aspect or features is night vision. And you can see actually with our VM780, we designed about 6 intensified infrared lamp to emit the infrared lights in the night vision. So actually you can have 5 meters recognizable and 10 meters of the visible. So it's actually for this night vision, it actually can be automatically changed, because you don't need to set it into the night mode, and it can change to the black and white video clip, because this is not convenient for our officers to carry it in the night, right? So it can change automatically if it detects the illumination is lower than 10 lux here. So it will change to the night mode automatically by the device. So it has the smart functionalities of this night vision, so which we think is very useful for our officers to carry out their duties in the night environment. And the other thing is about the pre-recording and post-recording. So suppose that we are carrying out the like missions in the street or in the outside field, right? So normally the officer, when they switch on, they will get the video clips like here. But normally they will missing some important information, because, for example, here we do not know what exactly this guy what's the purpose of this guy is doing, because we understand they are throwing the stones, and maybe they are defending themselves, or maybe they are actively attacking the police. So maybe we need more information, right? So this is exactly why we have these pre-recording functionalities. So here you can see actually, okay, so here is the later part, because when we stop the recording and we would like to see some other, we would like to see more contents of the video clips even if we are switched off of the video recording. So this is mean exactly that we need to have the pre-recording functionalities, and also we need to understand what's happening after we switch off the recording function. So we can safely say that we have the pre-recording function, like we can set it to 30 seconds, and afterwards you can also count it on the law enforcement officers to gracefully handle these cases, or if it ended peacefully. So we will notice the ending of the story with more information. So here we just want to stress on the mechanism we built into this device, because we are using the buffering mechanism. So when this machine is powered on, actually it has a buffer to recording all the facts, recycling, right? So it will have this 30 seconds recycling, and it will always refreshing itself by itself. So when you do the switch on, actually we already have this 30 seconds in pre-hand. Okay, so afterwards you also have this 30 seconds. We can have the post-recording to help you to recording a full facts or full evidence, because later on we will explain more details about the pre-recording and post-recording. And the other aspects of the battery, so here you can see actually we are supposed to support the 8 hours working. So in some of the building documents it requires at least 9 hours continuously video shooting, 9 hours. So we should support this. So here we have the option of the 3,500 milliampere hours of the battery. And of course, you also notice that in the device we have the battery ledger here, right? And they can easily change, because we just need about 3 seconds to change about the battery. This is very useful when you want to have more than 9 hours, and maybe your battery will easily run out of the power in the field, and you can bring your backup battery. So this can support you to work more hours with the execution of the missions in the outside. And of course, when we go back, we need to have the fast charging. So altogether, we have the test data that we can use 3.5 hours for the charging of the battery. And the other aspect, like the rugged design and the reliability of the device. So here we are passing all of the following standards, like the military standards, and also the IP levels 68. We have passed the certificate. We have passed this certification, and you can see actually our device is passing all of these standards and these IP ratings. So we can stay, for example, in the 2 meters drop test with the belt clip. So this means that our device, if unintentionally it has been dropped from the uniform, it can have a very robust design, so it will not broken there. And of course, in the other scenario, for example, in the very cold area, such as the Russian, we need to have the device work normally. So we need to have a wide range of the operating temperature, such as the minus 30 degrees and to 60 degrees. Sometimes maybe in the tropical area, such as the Southeast Asian countries, right? So you need to operating in all kinds of outdoor scenario. For example, in the rainy days, you need to have this IP68 rated, so you can survive in the rainy days and will not affect the functionalities of the device. So this is mean about the ruggedized and the reliabilities of our body camera. And then we go to share with you some more details about the specifications. And as we already explained before, that our waterway cameras can support the rotatable camera, and we have a 2.8-inch touch screen to help you to review your videos by the touch screen. So in this manner, the officer can to review the previously recorded the video clips or the images very easily. He just need to tap it in the screen and it can be done. So it's very convenient for the touch screen design. And of course, because we are supposed to give you also the PTT functionality, we're supposed to have a good audio parts. So this means that we built inside with the two speaker of this 1.5 watts in order to have a very good loudness in the outdoor scenario. And of course, at the same time, you need to hear it very clearly. So normally when we are speaking, it will have a dual mic inbuilt with these devices to help us to have the noise cancellation to guarantee the audio be passed into the other group members or to the dispatching console. Okay. So in the right part, we will have these parameters, and you can see actually we have two options of the battery, and we can support the remote speaker module working mode. Okay, sorry, the remote speaker microphone working mode. So we can use the wireless to connect our VM780 to our radios. So this is mean that we can also enjoy the benefits of the narrowband coverage and also the broadband coverage by the dual band terminals. So we can use this mode to carry out the PTT functionalities very easily. Sorry, one thing I forgot to introduce is about the bands which we can support with the LTE parts. So you can see a lot of bands has been listed here, but you should consult your sales manager or sales person in the district, because we have many versions. In the Asian Pacific, we have one version, and in the South America, we have another version, because the different requirements of the bands is different in different countries of these bands. So you should consult your sales manager in your district to ask for the right version to help you to testing there. Okay, here we have another model of the VM580D. So here you can see, actually we just want to tell you about the difference. So the most important difference here is the camera, right? Because this camera cannot be rotated. So this is a fixed camera. And at this time, the screen, of course, is smaller in order to get a small footprint, like the weight, like the size is also small, easy for you to handle. And of course, we built at the same time like the night vision here. And one of the most important features here we want to address is the internal backup battery. So we use we use just like a button battery here, because the battery, when we are changing, it can also still remains to work about 5 minutes even if you are changing the battery. Okay, so this is very useful, because normally the officer, when in the outside field, they will have some working shift, and they do not want to go back to the office to charge again, and maybe they just bring out the backup battery and to change the battery. So this is very useful, and it will not breaks the current video recording. It can support another 5 minutes, even if you are even if it's out of the battery of the previous battery. Okay. And then we go to the other model of the non-LTE model. So you will not see the bands which it can support here. And again, here we have the internal battery mechanism here, and we can support the RSM, I mean the remote speaker microphone working mode here. And of course, you have lighter weight, and also the dimension is less than the previous one. But you still have the screen here. You can see what the video has been shooted, and you can replay this video by just pushing the buttons at the bottom. And here is about another model which is liked very much by our field officers. So this one is without the 4G module inside, but actually it has still has the rotatable camera. But of course, you can notice the difference. Here is a little bit different than the VM780. Okay, so here we have more functionalities like the wireless. We have the wireline and the wireless connection with the RSM mode, the remote speak microphone. So we can use a wireline to connect to our radios, and then we can also use the Bluetooth to connect to the radios. So this wireline should be stressed here, be emphasized here, because normally this is a very good companion with our dual mode terminals, right? If you are with the radio, and if you still want to use it as a shoulder microphone, it will come into use with this narrowband cable, because it's like a duck bill cable. At the bottom, you will have 10 pin ports, okay, to connect with the dual mode terminals or radio. And again, you will see a lot of difference of the built inside the NFC for the functionality of with this RFID and also the GPS functionalities here. So I hope you can take a quick review by yourself to remember all of these parameters. Okay, understand of the features and the parameters. We go to now the accessories. So here we can show you some of the the basic or standard accessories of the device. So normally we will put together with the belt clip, as we said before. It's attached to our uniform, and can use this belt clip easily to attach to different kinds of uniform, right? And of course, we need to have optional accessories. For example, you need to have the desktop charger, and later on we will explain how it will transmit the storage between the body camera and our integrated integrated data stations, because we need to collect all of the evidence, right? And of course, we need to have the earphone and as an optional accessories. And also here we have the strap. So based on different model, we will have a different standard package and the optional package in order to provide a full accessories for for our customers, in order to have a better experience, usage experience from our customers. So you will have this kind of standards and optional accessories. Okay, and before we go to the second section of the part 2, we will have a little more questionnaires for you to answer to make sure that you are following us. We will spend about 2 minutes here. Okay. You can now give you the answers, and I will explain later. Okay, I see a lot of your feedbacks, and thanks for feedback. And I saw about 60% give me the answers for that. So I will explain a little bit more. So the first question is about which of the following BWC the body wear cameras are available. So all of the options here, VM550, 780 is all our devices. So I think most of you give the right answer. And I'm happy that about the second question, because the VM780, it has the multi-unit charger. It's the right the answer should be yes. So 80% of you giving the right answer. Okay, so for the third question is about the which of the following are distinctive VM780 features. So I think most of you giving the right answer. The only option of the non-removable battery actually is not the distinctive features of VM780. Okay, so the other things, including we have already introduced to you about the rotatable camera benefits and the speakers and also the long battery life. So this is all the features of VM780. Okay. Okay, that's a little questionnaire, and then we continue with our introduction of the other parts in the second part. So here we go to the second section of this of the second part. We would like to see what's the exactly command and dispatch solutions of there. So this is exactly why we are talking. It's like the PTT functionalities, right? So you need to communicate immediately with your group members, and you send the voice command for your group members to follow, or maybe it will have some situation we need to inform about the dispatcher. We can use this one. So this is the PTT button, a dedicated large button here, and we can push, and then we can talk, and in order for our commands or instructions to reach our group members. So this is mean no dialing time, and you will not to have the waiting time. So this is like the mission critical uses here. And the other thing is that we need to have a very good audio. So we have explained before, because we are supposed to use the outdoor environment, and normally it will have very noisy environment. So we want our voice to be heard very clearly there. So we need to have this audio power speaker of this is almost about 3 watts of there. And at the same time, we need to address the problem of talking. So when we are talking, we want the other person to hear our voice very clearly on the other side. So you need to have the noise reduction or noise cancellation algorithm to build inside to help you to achieve this purpose. And the other thing about the dispatching and the PTT is about the live streaming and the video dispatching here. So you can actually see here when we are happening some emergencies and we want to communicate with our command dispatching console, and we will just to use our body cameras and to set up the live streaming immediately to help them to understand the situation happens around me, right? So this increases the situation awareness of the dispatcher. And at the same time, when we are talking, when we are requesting some more resources, so we can use also this one to ask for help with our dispatcher. So normally they will have more capabilities to coordinate the resources for you. So if you encounter some problem, normally you can use this to set up a fasting link or connection with the command center. And one other thing we want to address here is about the monitoring, because normally, for our dispatcher here, it can monitor about the status of the battery. For example, if its battery is low, and he can send some alarm information for the police officer to change the batteries, to send some alert information like this. And at the same time, the monitoring also means that the cameras lens can be zooming and zoom out by the dispatcher. In this way, actually the device can be managed or monitored or remote controlled by the dispatcher here. Okay, so this is the live streaming and the visual dispatching functionalities with our device. And the other benefits or features we have built inside is with the H.265. So this, I think most of you maybe already know this, because normally we are talking about this is like a advanced algorithm to provide a robust calculation or algorithm to build inside, and also for the error correction frame, it can have a better quality of the image or the videos. So in this way, because we are adopting the H.265, you can have a better quality than the previous algorithm of the H.264, giving the premise of the same bandwidth, and you can get a clearer image or the video clips of the footprint. And at the same time, we are supposed to use this technology or this algorithm to build inside in order to save our bandwidth. For example, you can see actually about half of the bandwidth can be saved regarding to the different kind of resolutions, right? So, another aspect here is that if you are using the H.265, actually for the storage, it can also be saved, right? So you will use this encoding for the video to store in the device and also transmission in the air, and all of this storage space can be saved and the bandwidth can be saved. So this is a very economic way and efficient way to improve the quality and also to cut down the cost. So I hope you can also remember these features. So I think this is very important of the recent body weight cameras features. And one last thing we want to address is about the AI functionalities. So we all know that nowadays there are lots of facial recognition applications in the markets, and we have already adapted this to our platform, the dispatching platform. So this will help our officers to tracking down the suspects. And this one, when capturing the videos or the image on the street, and actually it can send back to the command center, because normally the officers, they don't have a very good memory to remember all of the suspects in the database, right? But our machine, they can. So when they capture the faces, and they send back to the backend command center, and this command center will have the database of the suspects. It can compare it automatically and send the alarming information for the officers to notice. For example, if the officer come across with some suspects in the street, it will automatically trigger the alarm for the officer and to take the further actions. So this will be very useful for our field officers to take these facial recognition functionalities. And the third part, or third section of the second part, will be the evidence and device management solutions. So in this part, we will see the architecture first. So here we give the architecture of the digital evidence management. So the first thing we want to say is about the, you see here is the integrated device stations, right? So this integrated device stations is like the access part of the whole solutions, because we need to manage our evidence very carefully, because all of the evidence is supposed to be have the security, information security to build inside in order to have anti-tampering, and in order to have the full evidence. I mean, the integration of the evidence should not be harmed by the third party, right? So this one we are leverage the architecture into two levels. And the first level is like the entrance. The first level is like the IDS level, right? The IDS is like the access part of the device. So all of these devices. So here you can see actually we have with the multi-unit charger, we can support about 6 devices here, and 3 of them can be connected to one IDS in order to have the automatically uploading of the footage and the video clips. And here you can notice the effects of this 18. This number is 18. Why? Because normally with our IDS, the integrated device stations, it's running on the Windows operating system. So for our BWC to retrieve the video clips, it's working in the USB mode. So it's like a USB disk for the machine, for the PC to recognize. So we have 3 alphabets reserved for the ABC, but The other alphabets can be used for the USB disk. So maximally we can support 23 device, but in the field test, we're supposed to have this is the field testing numbers of this 18 can be the maximum we can support here. So we not suggest you are exceeding this maximum 18. This 18 numbers should not be exceeded in the practice or in the configuration of the IDS. So the first step, we connect the device to the IDS, and then the IDS will put the footage to the DM. This DM is like the backend database center, right? So here we have the DM for the abbreviation of the digital evidence management. So in this way, we can use the web client to manage our evidence, to retrieve or delete or not modify, but we can delete, because if some of the footage is outdated, we need to delete it from the storage in order to free up some spaces, right? And especially for our device, when we put back into the multi-unit charger, it will automatically upload, and the space will be automatically freed by this software. So this means when it's complete uploading of the evidence, the space in the BWC will be free again, and you can use it again for another shift. Okay, so this is the IDS and DEM introduction, and we have some more requirements. For example, if you are, you might say that in some of the cases, it might come across the BWC numbers is exceeding 100 or even 200. How you handle this kind of problem or this kind of cases? So we can use the cabinets here. So one cabinet, it can support maximally it's about 30 BWC in just one cabinet, and these cabinets can be all put together and by an Android box. We have an Android box here inside, but it's not drawn here. So in this way, we can safely to put our video evidence to the backend DM server. Okay, so this is the cabinets data collection solutions that we can design for our customer, because normally they will have more than 18 BWC requirements, and we can use this one to meet the requirements of big numbers of BWC in just one location. And then we can see about some of the details of the IDS client. So here we have give you the UI interface, the user-friendly interface, and this is a very intuitive interface. So normally when we put the device back into the multi-unit, it will automatically goes to the uploading. You do not need to interfere here with the IDS software. So it's all done by automatic way, and you will notice it's if it's ongoing or it's already completed, right? So with this automatic data collection, and at the same time you can have the BWC registration and authentication, because this is like the mutual authentication of the device and also the server. So you do not want malicious, disguise of the evidence. For example, maybe some hacker, they will use this kind of penetration into the system, so they cannot access the system without the right password, right? So you can use this IDS first to register one device in order to make it working in your IDS system. And at the same time, you will also authenticate the IDS stations from the equipment side. So this is like the mutual authentication and the registration. And the other thing we needed to address is about the log records. When we have some operations, and all of the operations will have some, some footprints here. So all of the things will have some records of the log. And of course, we need to connect our IDS with the backend DM. So we need to set up the DM IP address and to set up about the time when it's supposed to activate the automatic uploading of the IDS. So here we give some other pictures of our software. So this right part is about the IDS. Now we go to the DM part, the digital evidence management. You can see actually we can manage all of our video clips by reviewing it, by do some marking, because sometimes you need to mark the video clips. Maybe you will mark this as related to some criminals, and maybe this is the evidence for the murderer cases, right? And this is the traffic police. So you will have different labels or different mark for the video clips. So this is very convenient for our officers to search and play back, and also delete and archive all of these video clips by the intuitive, user-friendly interface. And normally we can access our DEM platform by the web browser. So this is working in the BS mode. So it's very easy for you to access to our backend data center of the evidence management, because we can just access to our digital evidence management platform by just using something remotely. And we can see the management of the storage, because we will understand how many photos, how many videos, and how many audios has been captured. And this is like the evidence database for us to query and to retrieve and to manage of the archives of this digital evidence. And then the last slides about our data collection or data management is about the field testing value. Or you can see actually we have put a table here, and how many times we should wait for just one BWC with 32 GB to upload all of this content. It's about 24 seconds here, right? And with a multi-unit charger, and with all of the devices supposed to have about 80 minutes to uploading of the total evidence here. And here we also give some other figures like the charging time with different battery and charging time with the Docker. So based on the different charging ampere here. So here we have the 2 ampere, and charging with Docker we have only 1 ampere. So you will notice actually here the hours should be a bit, it's like doubles than the previous one. So here we are giving you these figures to help you to understand that what's the normal uploading time and the charging time of our devices to help us to improve the efficiency of the data collections. And the last point we want to point out is the security, the information security aspect. So in this part, we will explain to you. For this device, actually we have access password, because when you are reviewing the video clips, it's not to say that everybody can review the facts, right? because we are using the access password to protect our video clips, and this is not accessible by all of the other persons. For example, if the officers um, lost this device in the outside field, and somebody else is picking this up and they want to access these files, it's not accessible because they do not have the password, and normally they don't have the right dedicated software, because when we want to retrieving the video clips or video footage, we supposed to use the dedicated software. But without a dedicated software, even if you have the password, you can only review on the device. You cannot retrieve from the laptop or PC. Okay. And the other aspect we want to address is the anti-tampering mechanism, because all of these video clips is shooted and shooted with the watermark, and this watermark can be the timestamp and with the user ID, and also it's embedded with the GPS information. All of these three factor or three parameters can be used as the watermark for the video clips. So all of the videos or the images can have this watermark in case for the empty for the tamper of the video clips. So it's very hard for you to modify the video clips, because you need to modify the timestamps or the user IDs at the same time. And for the video clips, normally this is very hard for the person to do the tampering of the video, if the video is protected with this watermark, right? And the last thing is about the encryption, because all of the transmission between the IDS and the device, and also about the storage of the device is all encrypted in the algorithm of AES 256. So this is a very robust encryption algorithm. The full name is the Advanced Encryption Standards. So it's the USC standards, and we are integrating into our device and our BWC solutions. Okay, after understanding the storage and the dispatching solutions of our BWC solution, and we now go to the smart mobile device management, because sometimes we need to do the device remote control and management, because you are supposed to manage thousands of devices. You cannot do it one by one for the upgrading, right? So you need to have this mobile device management servers, and use the client to connect it to your devices to do the batch programming or the application whitelist and the blacklist for management of the applications on the device. So this is very useful, especially for the police officer. Normally they are using as it's like a working tool. It's not for the playing or entertainment. So you need to address this topic for the massive management of the device. So before we go to the last part, I think it's better not to do some questionnaire again. So we will go to directly for the third part, because the time is running out. And now we go to the third part for the case introduction. Okay, so we have deployed our devices global-wide, and we will see some of the cases and some of the application scenarios, because most of you are very interested about how to apply the BWC in my customer or with our industry, right? So here we will see some of the cases. So this one is from the, let's say we have Middle Asian country. For the security reasons or for the privacy, we have deliberately hide the customer information here. So you can only see some of the features we built with this customer. So this is one country. Actually, they are requesting the body wear camera because they have recent passed law to use it as a mandatory item for the police to carry out their missions on the street. They need to carry the body wear camera as a mandatory item for the police. And the other thing they need to stress to, because they have about more than 177 police stations. So they need to do the data collections, and also the storage site will be distributing these 177 data stations, police stations. And at the same time, they need to have a command center for them to do the dispatching or the voice dispatching things, right? So this is applied in the traffic police and the other enforcement agencies. So as we told you before, actually this one can bring the benefits like the accountability and also the transparency and to build the trust of the government before the public. So, and of course, it will have many other customized features here. Like the later slides, like these slides, we will explain a little bit more because they want the biggest FOV, which is the 160. The FOV angle is the ultra wide angle. Okay, so this one they want to take more facts in just one small piece of the VM780. And of course, they are supposed to work in the outdoor area to support more than 8 hours or let's say 9 hours of the battery. So this we can also do it very easily with our batteries. And they also request about the video blind alarm. So when somebody is want to blind this video or blind this camera, it will trigger alarm and send the information to the backend dispatcher for them to take the record that somebody is blinding the video here. So this is to ensure the transparency of the law enforcement, because when the police goes to the street and carry out their missions, they may be deliberately to take shoot the videos on their purpose, right? So this one will make sure that they cannot do this anymore, because if they purposely to blind this camera, and they will trigger the alarm. So if the policemen they want to do the video shooting by their own purpose, it's not accessible from this point of view. And at the same time, the battery is fixed with this type. Because the battery is fixed, if it's unassembled from the device, it will trigger the alarm again for the backend dispatcher. So in this way, when the device has been pulled off from the desktop charger, and it will automatically come into working, and the working will continue about 8 hours until the device has been returned to the desktop charger, right? So this is the way why our clients want the transparency of the lawful enforcement agencies. So in this way, it can ensure that the video is recorded in the right way, and it can provide to the public as the transparent transparency of the evidence, because this is like the mandatory features from this customer. And the other aspect we want to address is that the smart about this BWC applications, smart capability, or let's say intelligent capability. So in this figure or slides, you can see actually all of the position of the device has been in real time captured, and then you can use this one to track down if this police is doing the right patrolling or not, right, on the street. So you can track all of his history of the positions, and you can track down about the footprint of these police officers, if he goes to the right place or if he is just deviating from the right route. And the other thing is about the retrieving of the evidence. So here you can see actually we have the automatic way to get the footage into this box, and this box can automatically transmit to the backend database of the digital evidence management. So in this way, it can automatically uploading of the evidence, and later on will be archived and managed and marked by different levels of severity for the future management of the evidence, right? And the third thing is about the man-down alarm functionalities. So the first two are, so here we give you some application scenario. So for example, if some policeman is down about 30 seconds, I mean, we have a gyroscope or acceleration sensors built inside. So if some man-down situation is happening and it lasts more than 30 seconds, it will mean one of the device has been laid down for about 30 seconds. So maybe something very bad or dangerous is happening with the policeman who is carrying this device, right? And normally this is a very common situation when we are talking about the outdoor activities for our industry, like the mining, like the utility guys. Maybe it has been in danger. So we need to give the alarming information for our dispatchers for them to understand there was some situations happening here with our BWC carrier. Okay, so this is the one of the applications in the Middle Asian countries, and they use this one to enhance the transparency and the public trust of the government. And this is for one of the Chinese city police. So in this time, we offered the VM6080X to offer the capability like the remote speaker microphone together to combine with our dual mode terminals. So it's like the remote speaker microphone on the shoulder, right? So provide a very loud audio for our dual mode terminals. So they do not need to carry more devices. They just need to carry our camera, and it has the capability to shoot in the video and at the same time to offer the PTT functionalities. And also, so here is about the benefits that why we win this project. So we are using the PM radio together with our VM68X, and also this one with the VM780, and also with our dispatching platform of the Smart Eye. So this is with another clients from the city police. So altogether, we So for this case, we served about 3,000, and for this case, we served about 1,000 pieces. And for the railway police, and because you know that in China currently we have the high-speed train, right? And this train is when the people get into this train, normal the rail police need to have this camera to shoot everybody's videos with the for the records. So they will use this like a patrolling and to record the every passenger's face at the beginning when these passengers enter the train. It will go. You will see actually the railway police is using this like a patrolling device and also take the footage before the start of the train. So all of the passengers will be recorded, and in this way to maintain the security status of the train. Right? So this is normally very useful, especially for the transportation. I think it's also very normal in the plane. When the plane, before the plane take off, normally an officer or some plane security guys, it will use the body-worn camera to take the photos or take the videos of each passenger. So this is very useful for the afterwards retrospecting. Okay, for the another case, we can give you another interesting case about the utilities, because normally we understand in the utility company, when the workers go to the outside field or the stations, the power stations, they need to climb to the tower. They need to do a lot of very dangerous operations, and normally these operations will be very complex or complicated. So it will have an instruction. It's better to have an instruction from the back-end expert to tell him what's the procedures they need to follow, and what's exactly maybe they have some actions. So maybe they will have some wrong actions. So they can communicate with the back-end expert or back-end operators to tell them the right procedure of there. Because normally the people on the front line, normally they might do not have so many expertise. They are just some outdoor workforces of there, right? So they need to communicate with the command center to understand what's the right procedure. For example, the switch one and the switch 2, and then the following actions. So that they can use these body-worn cameras to communicate with the back-end dispatching console. In this way, they can prove the efficiency. And the one last case is about the security firms, which is in the European country. So in this application case, we are talking about the security guys. So these security guys, they're supposed to do their routine patrolling in the red light area or the nightclub place. So normally they want to carry about some device which can help them to record the facts or record the evidence for future usage. Because there is one interesting feedback from this customer. The customer told us actually in this kind of area, normally it has a lot of CCTV, right? But this CCTV is a fixed camera, and normally the people in this area, or the drunk people in this area, they will just neglect about the CCTV existing. they forgot that there are some fixed camera is shooting the videos. But if with some person and dressed in the uniform like security guys, and with this body wear camera, this is very useful, or it's a very useful deterrent for the security guys to deterrent about the unpolite actions or aggressive actions by this maybe the drunk man or somebody who want to harass in the nightclub, right? So this is very useful because the guys told us normally the people will neglect about the facts of the CCTV, but they will be very noticeable about the cameras with the security guys. So they will come down and they will action more friendly with the security guys. So this is this device is very much liked by our customers in the these security firms in the European country. Okay, I think that's all for our BWC seminars, and we want to make a summary here. So actually, Hytera is not going. It's not only to provide you with the devices, but at the same time, we are providing the platform, such as the dispatching platform and also the digital evidence collection platform, to help you to facilitate all of your routine management of the evidence. And actually, our experience is coming from the field experience of our customer, right? So we are improving every features for our devices and for our solutions. So in this way, we hope we can provide with our customers the best products and with the best features. So together, hand in hand, I think we can create the future for our BWC business. Okay, and thank you for all of you listening here.